Savo Mac Daddy says, business ideas for a 12-year-old. Greetings, entrepreneurs of Reddit. I need some help in seeking it, but we did something like this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did.
Well, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
My soon-to-be 12-year-old asked if I could help him start a business. I love it. 12 years old. I'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
He is very intelligent, mildly autistic kid. Think of young Sheldon, who overperforms in everything he puts his mind to, sports and school. I have no doubt that he will put into this project as much time and energy as needed to make it successful. Unfortunately for me, I have no business experience or ideas that can to be helpful. I gave him the usual: wash cars, mow lawns, clean yards, but I feel like he has a lot more potential than that. He is an avid reader and researcher and very quickly becomes an expert into topics. Please help me with some ideas. Think as a successful business person, what advice would you give your 12-year-old self? Where would you spend your time and energy? Thanks in advance. Well, that's easy. Buy Bitcoin. If I was 12, go way back when.
Right.
Say, well, in 20 years, go buy Bitcoin.
So here's the thing.
Other than that.
So here's the thing, right? Like, I feel like he has a lot more potential than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing. When I sit back and I look at all the multimillionaires that I know, not the millionaires, but the multimillionaires, all of them come from construction, HVAC, landscaping. Like, they're all blue collar industries.
Yeah.
In businesses that they started very young, but they learned cash flow. They learned how to invest. So a lot of their multi-million worth didn't come from just doing the work. It came from managing the business itself.
Yes, it does.
Right? And then using the business profits to further invest in other things.
So fun you say this. I'll tell you why in a second. Go ahead.
So, like, I don't think everybody their goal shouldn't go to be a coder or a programmer or try to come up with the next big software. Like, if you start early enough mowing lawns, and then you teach him how to hire a couple of his friends so they can mow twice the amount of lawns, and he learns how to manage other people and be responsible and understand cash flow and all that stuff at age 12, all these traditional businesses, the car washes, the lawn mowing, the snow removal, the stuff we talked about, are incredibly viable long-term businesses that can make you incredibly wealthy, right? Like, one of the richest guys recently was that damn septic guy that was on, did you ever watch the show Dirty Jobs?
No, I know of it, but I never watched it.
So he went out and they were doing these like septic cleanouts and stuff. So the guy started working with his dad when he was young, doing these septic tank cleanouts and stuff. And the guy was super smart. So he actually started inventing new equipment that they use in the septic industry.
Oh, cool. Oh, patents.
Dude,
oh, yeah, that's it. Done.
And not only that, he also owns the manufacturing that actually makes the equipment.
Once you get the patent on something that everybody needs, that's it. You're set for life.
So, like, saying things like, oh, you know, he has more potential than that. Like, I don't think you understand the potential needed to run a successful lawn care business. I don't think you understand the potential needed to run a actual car wash, not just like washing cars, but like a car wash. Right? Who is that? Cody Sanchez always talks about, you know, the boring businesses. Okay?
Yeah.
Laundromats. There's nothing exciting about it. Right?
Makes a lot of money.
They do make a lot of money, right?
A lot of money.
So it's more about the experience of running a business necessarily than what the business is at that age.
So that's a great point. So what I was going to say was, so this summer, my son will be home from college for the summer. I'm getting him and like 4 or 5 of his friends, and they're going to start coming to the office 3 or 4 days a week. And I'm just going to teach them what it means to run a business.
So I got to give you, we were talking about my daughter's lemonade stand the other day, right?
Yes.
So over the last few weeks, since we talked about that, I've been going over stuff with her.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we haven't started putting numbers on paper yet. But she was like, oh, I want to build a lemonade stand and stuff. And I'm like, okay, then we're going to have to spend money on the wood and all this stuff. And she had sketches of what she wanted it to look like. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to build this fancy lemonade stand, but you're going to use a lot of your money then on buying the wood and the paint and all this stuff. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, so you understand that if you're spending your money on building the stand, you're not going to you're not going to be able to fully supply it. You're not going to be able to buy all the lemons and the sodas and the snacks and all that stuff you want to have in it. She goes, well, that's not very smart. And I go, well, she's like, so if I make the lemonade stand less fancy and I use less wood and more cardboard, because I can get the cardboard free,
much,
right? She's like, then I can buy more supplies and have more options for the people to buy stuff. And I'm like, that is correct. She's like, that seems smarter. I'm like, yes, it does. Right?
And then when you make more money, then you can.
She's 8.
Yeah.
Right. And she's already starting to understand just by explaining basic things to her that, where to put your money when you're starting up matters a lot.
Yeah.
So those are the types. Am I excited about her having an all summer every weekend lemonade stand outside my house where there's no damn traffic? No. Right. Like, next thing I'm going to talk to her about is, why don't you talk to the church and see if you can set up your lemonade stand on Sundays?
Right.
Right. Rather than doing it outside of her house. Now she's learning about business locations, like how location matters.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of it's the fundamentals that you teach. It's not the business that they're doing.
Right.
I don't care if her lemonade stand ever makes money. I care about the lessons she's learning about everything involved in the process.
So that's what I'm getting at. So I'm going to have all these, I think they're all in college. Yeah, they're all college students. They'll be home for the summer. Bring your daughter; she'll love it. And honestly, though, I could care less about what kind of business they're thinking they want to start at some point. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show them, here are all the things involved in running a business, right? Everything from, you got to start the business. You got to do, there's HR, there's accounting, the bookkeeping and such, right? There's marketing, there's so many, customer service. There's all these things that are involved. And guess who's doing them all when you first start out?
Right.
You.
Yes.
All of them. You need to know how to do all of these things before you even open the doors. And people don't realize that. They think they can just go and start a business and don't realize all the various things that have to go into it. Right. You got to wear 12 hats when you're first starting out.
You always have to understand the fundamentals of it, whether you're doing it or not.
Right.
Right.
You don't have to be an expert.
No,
but you need to at least understand how to keep track of expenses.
Yes.
What a receipt, what to do with the receipts, right? What an asset is versus a liability. People, you'd be amazed what people don't know.
So it was funny. I was just, it's not directly business related, right? So my daughter had 4 of her friends over a few months ago, and they all wanted to stay for dinner. So we did build your own pizzas. I made the dough, all that stuff, right? So as we're done and they're sitting there eating, they were talking about the things they wanted to buy, right? Because it was one of their birthdays and she was going to get money. And I gave them an entire 15-minute lecture on investing and buying mutual funds and stocks.
Is that why they never came back?
No.
I'm just kidding.
The funny thing is, my wife has a picture. My wife has a picture of the moment, and they're all sitting there like this. For 15 minutes, they didn't touch their food.
Right.
They literally just sat there and listened. And then when I was done, and they started eating their pizzas, and then 5 minutes later, one of them raises their hand. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, so what you're saying is that if I don't buy this Barbie now, and I put that money in one of those fun things you were talking about, I could buy 10 Barbies in the future? And I'm like, that's exactly what I said.
That's amazing.
She's like,
I love it.
That makes so much sense.
I love it.
Right? And I'm like, yes. And that's how you got to look at it. Whenever you spend the money now on something you don't really need, I'm like, because do you need another Barbie? And she's like, well, I don't really need it. I just want it. And I'm like, okay. So anytime you spend money on stuff that you don't need, don't look at it as I spent this $10 now, but look at it as if you spent $100.
Or you lost 90 that you could have earned over later on.
That $10 could be worth 100.
Yeah.
But you just wanted another Barbie instead of wanting that $100. She goes, yeah, I don't think I'm going to Target on Sunday.
I love it.
I was like, that's awesome.
And her mom's going to call you. What did you do to my kid?
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. The
mom doesn't understand.
The mom texted my wife and went, why does my daughter not want to spend her money at Target on Sunday? What did your husband say?
Exactly. And it's a shame because a lot of parents don't know either. And
Yeah.
they don't know how to teach their
But
kids that.
so it wasn't like she was actually glad, right? Like, because he had been trying to
Well, that's
tell her,
good.
but she had done it under the pretense of you got to learn how to save money.
Yeah, it's different.
Correct.
It's very
Like
different.
I gave them
Saving and investing are very different
correct.
things.
So when you look at saving as losing something
Yeah,
rather than saving as getting something from it, it's totally different, right?
it is.
So I just had to bring. I was thinking about it
No,
as you
that's
were talking
fantastic.
about,
I
like,
love that. No, that's the kind of stuff that
Yeah.
this 12-year-old needs to know.
Correct.
Right? Okay, seriously, Save a Mac Daddy, you want to teach your 12-year-old
Mm-hmm.
something? Don't give him a lawnmower. Don't teach that kid what it means to run a business.
Yeah.
Teach that kid what it means to save money.
like, if
teach
you-
that kid what it is to allocate funds for this,
Yes.
this, and this.
Yes, and it's no different than running a household.
No.
It's just on a bigger scale,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the next conversation I'm having with my daughter is when we're done this summer, whatever money she has, now she's going to have an 8-month gap. So now we're going to have the conversation, well, where are we going to keep this money?
Yeah.
Is it going to go under your pillow? Are we going to put it into a fund? Are we going to buy stocks with it so that money could potentially earn money for those 8 months?
Yeah.
So that's the whole conversation that's going to take place next. But
I love it.
that's really understanding how money works, because that's how it works in a business, right?
Right.
If you buy a new piece of equipment, you're not spending $50,000 on a piece of equipment. You're increasing your earning potential to $1 million.
Correct.
Right?
Well, you should be.
It should be.
That's what you
Correct.
should be doing
Yes.
with it. Right.
Right. So like if you go out and once again was having this conversation with a guy earlier in the week, right? He does demolition. And he's like, I really need a good what's it called? A sawzall?
Sawzall.
Yeah, sawzall, right? And he's like, right now I can't afford to buy the really good industrial one.
Right.
He's like, so I'm doing it by hand and sledgehammer and manual saw, because he's like, I don't want to have to buy a cheap one to then have to buy a cheap one again to then maybe being able to. He's like, I'd rather do it the hard way till I can buy the one that's going to last. And I'm like, that's good. I'm like, but how many jobs are you losing out on because you're now taking 6 hours to do a demo that should have taken you 3?
Right.
Right. So you might be better off buying that cheap one twice because you can do more jobs.
Yeah.
You may not even have to buy it twice. You might be able to just buy it once, because if you can get more jobs done,
Yeah.
that's more income. Right. So it's a gradual, like you don't have to go out and buy the 0-turn 48-inch super turbo lawnmower as your first lawnmower.
But there is something to be said for incurring debt to do that. Sometimes it is worth incurring debt to get there, because whereas your guy with the Sawzall might not be able to make enough money for 2 years to buy that really good one, but if he were to buy the good one, he can get more work done over the next 2 years to then pay that back and earn more.
That's the difference between good debt and bad debt, right? Like good debt helps you make more money.
Yeah.
Bad debt just takes on additional liability with no reward.
Right, exactly. Again, these are things that people need to know if they're going to run a business.
Yeah.
So many people are like, oh, I don't want to go into debt. Sometimes you need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes the debt's a good thing, because you need to grow. You need to get money into the bank account so that you can buy whatever equipment you need or get the people you need.
Yeah. I think a lot of this also is just like the guy says, right? Like he doesn't know a lot about business, but you got to take lessons that you learn in life managing money and just apply it to business, right? Like I have a rule with cars, for example, right? Everybody knows that a car loses most of its depreciation in the first 2 years, right? In fact, when you drive it off
2 years, drive it off the lot, it's 30%.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the first 2 years is where it proportionally loses most of its value.
Right. So buy a 3-year-old car.
No, I always buy a 2-year-old car.
2-year car, right? Yeah.
And ideally, I try to find something that came off of lease or was owned by the dealership. Yep. Those are the two best deals you can get,
absolutely.
Right? So like when I bought my Suburban, I bought it with 13,000 miles on it, 2 years old, and I paid roughly 15% under Blue Book value for it because it was a fleet car.
Okay.
Right? Was phenomenally taken care of because most fleet cars actually have mechanics that check the cars and work on them. And like when I got in the car, you wouldn't have known that it was a 2-year-old car. It might as well have come right off. It practically had the new car smell in it still, right?
That's a spray.
Right. But could I have gone and bought the brand new Suburban off the lot? Yeah, I could have. It's just I would rather take the difference in that money, right? Rather than paying that extra 30% for that new car. I would rather take that money and invest it somewhere, because that additional invested money will make the down payment on the next car that much less.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But that's fundamentally how you should approach business.
Okay, so Save Up Mac Daddy, I hope we've given you some advice. Hey, look, if you're in the Philadelphia area, I'm serious. I'm doing this over the summer with probably about 7 or 8 kids. Bring them.
Yeah.
Or her. I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl. Say son.
Son.
Just it says son. Okay. Bring him over. Love to be part of it. It'd be awesome. No, I don't think he says.
Help him
Okay,
start
great.
a business.
So bring your son over. Awesome. If not, sorry, but that's what you got to do. I would say, and he says it here that he doesn't understand business himself. Go find someone that does. I promise you there are people out there like me, like you, that would gladly sit with that kid a couple hours a week and just shadow me. Come shadow me. Come sit in a meeting and see what it's like.
I take interns all the time from high school.
Yeah.
And let them follow me around. Like they literally drive with me. They come with me to the golf course.
Yeah.
But like, I want you to see what it's like.
And they're not your caddy.
They're not my caddy. They get to just come along. Right.
So best of luck to you. And best of luck to your son. I think that's awesome that he wants to do that stuff. If you like what you saw in the clips, don't forget to subscribe as well. Let us know what you think by leaving some information in the comments.